holy name. We thank you for this holy Sabbath day. Amen.
Amen.
O Shema Yisrael, Yahovah Eloheinu, Yahovah Eloheinu. Clap your hands, come on, y'all. O Shema Yisrael, Yahovah Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Yahovah Echad. O Baruch Shem Kebo, Ma'akuto Leolam, Ma'akuto Leolam, Kuto Leolam, O Baruch Shem Kebo, Ma'akuto Leolam, Leolam Waye. O Shema Yisrael, Yahovah Eloheinu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Yahovah Eloheinu, O Shema Yisrael, Yahovah Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Yahovah Echad. O Baruch Shem Kebo, Ma'akuto Leolam, Ma'akuto Leolam, Ma'akuto Leolam, O Baruch Shem Kebo, Ma'akuto Leolam, Leolam Waye. O Shema Yisrael, Yahovah Eloheinu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Yahovah Eloheinu, O Shema Yisrael, Yahovah Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Yahovah Echad. O Baruch Shem Kebo, Ma'akuto Leolam, Ma'akuto Leolam, Ma'akuto Leolam, O Baruch Shem Kebo, Leolam Waye. Ein Elohei, Ein Elohei Kimo Yahovah, Melech HaGadol. Yeah, Yom Kol Yisrael, Amen. Ein Elohei Kimo Yahovah, Melech HaGadol. Oh, Serach Devarim Nefli. Yom Kol Yisrael, Amen. There is no God like Yahovah, making of the always doing wondrous things. Let all Israel say amen. There is no God like Yahovah, making of the always doing wondrous things. Let all Israel say amen. Again. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Yeah. By the rivers of Babylon, yeah, we sat down there. Praise Yah. When we remember Jerusalem, we were sick, Lord, dead to die. Talking about it. Praise Yah.
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Jerusalem. The land where our fathers served the Lord our God. Our captors asked of us a song, make mirth in a strange new land. But if I forget thee, Jerusalem, may I cut off my own right hand, talking about a Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. Lord, against Edom, who said against our city, he said, raise it to the ground and show no pity for us. Jerusalem, 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 Egypt land. Oppressed so hard they could not stand.
Let my people go.
Let's go. He said, go down, Moses,
Way down
and
Egypt's land.
tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Thus said the Lord, bold Moses said,
Let my people go.
if not, I'll smite your firstborn dead.
Let my people go.
He said,
Go down.
What?
Moses. Way down
Man,
Egypt's land.
what he said?
Tell old Pharaoh
To let
my people go.
the Lord told Moses what to do.
Let my people go.
He said,
Lead the children of Israel through.
let my people go. He said, go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. He said, go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Yeah! Hey! Then hakolasa yape beito gamed haolam natan delibam mibli asher lo yi zaha adam et ha'ase asher saha Elohim erosh we atsof le olam wae erosh we atsof le olam wae oh la Yahovah ki what oh la Yahovah ki to what one more time. Oh, do la Yahovah Kito. Say, Pile Olam Kasido. Pile Olam Kasido. Pile Olam Kasido. One more time from the top. One more time. There we go. Hakolasa. Yafe beito Tamed haolam Natan beliba Bibli Asher Lo yit Zaha Adam Et Hakma Ase Asher Saha Elohim Erosh We Atso Le La Yahovah ki olam La Yahovah ki olam La Yahovah ki olam Hallelujah. Blessed be the mighty King. You may be seated. Mausia, come see how you can find that. We thank the Most High King for all things and everything, food, clothing, and shelter. I hope y'all had a good lunch. Y'all sound like you got a good lunch. Like you ready to go to sleep. So we're thankful for this day. I'm thankful to this great King for my life, the life of all of you, for having a great day and for enjoying each other's company. That's a blessing. So we're going to move straight ahead, and we got the children that are going to be presenting. I believe this is the last week. And where's Samal Zakar? So that he could come up and introduce the children that are going to be going this week. It's on, Moses. Just needs a little while. We need Samal Zakar. Is he up here? Zakar? He's here. He's up here. So can we get, who are the children? Come on. They know what they're doing. You got the clicker on it. Put the clicker on it. I introduce to you Moshe. Where's Ziri at? He's coming? All right.
No, you said go ahead.
Oh, all right. You the oldest, man. You got to do the introduction. Let's go.
Shabbat Shalom. I want to give all thanks and praises to Yahweh. I want to give thanks and praises to Yahweh and for everybody that's here.
Go to the first. Gotta go to the first slide. You gotta open it up. You gotta make it you gotta play.
So our
Moshe, go on that side. All right. Keep going that side.
our topic was post-civilization reconstructions, Jim Crow laws, and black codes. So post-Civil War Reconstruction was the Reconstruction era was a period between the times of 1863 and 1877, where many southern United States, where the southern United States was destroyed, and during the Civil War, in which farms, plantations were burned down, and the rebuilding after the Civil War was called the Reconstruction. The Reconstruction lasted from 1865 to 1877.
In regards to the separation of the southern states, the main goal was to primarily to help the South become part of the Union once again, because it wasn't. They were separated. It was the North and the South. However, in order to achieve this, the federal troops were commanded to occupy a large part of the South to solidify these laws that would soon be put into place. Although these laws weren't put into place as soon as many would have liked, in effort, many southern states began to pass the Black Codes, which were laws passed by southern states in 1865 and 1866 in the United States after the American Civil War, with the intent and the effect of restricting African Americans' freedom and of compelling them to work in the labor economy based on low wages or debt.
Introducing these codes, a lot of conflict arose between the North and the South while attempting to reunite after the Civil War. As a result, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were added to the Constitution in an effort to build a union and allow things such as building roads, conduct farms, and building schools to take place within black communities. Although these actions were taken, many changes to obtain equal rights were able to stand strong, which then led to the introduction of the Jim Crow laws. The Jim Crow laws our state. Jim Crow laws were state and local laws that it was enforced racial segregation in southern United States, all intact in the late 19th and early 20th century by white Democratic dominated state legislators after the Reconstruction period. The laws were enforced until 1965. So this is a picture of the Jim Crow Law Museum, and this was a black man that was hanged because he voted he voted and they did not allow that, and this is a picture of what they did.
Right.
Some of the biblical reference that we had was Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 5 through 7. And it says, "Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives and begot sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons and give you your daughters, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. And seek the peace of the city whither I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray unto the Lord for it. For in the peace thereof shall ye have peace." And the Tanakh relates to the Jim Crow laws because the Most High wanted us to be separate from other nations, and He didn't want us to be amongst all the other people that were doing wickedness. And all of these things in the Tanakh actually came to pass.
We done?
That's it?
Yeah.
Hit the light. Hit the light, man. Where you going? They might have questions. Anybody have questions? I got a question. Who was Jim Crow?
He was a white man that didn't like black people.
Okay.
Nice try.
Go ahead.
So I want to know, when you were doing this study and you were studying this, I want to know how it made you feel when you found out about the Jim Crow laws, when you were finding out what was happening to the African Americans during. How does this make you feel studying this?
So I knew what the Jim Crow laws were about before. So my mind didn't change. So I just thought that it was wrong, and I feel like if without slavery we would have never been here. So I just wish we never came to this country.
Next question. Yeah, I agree with Heath. So, yeah. Any more questions? That's it? Oh.
No, but do you know who Jim Crow actually was?
No.
Okay, so make
He
sure
said
you
he
answer the
knows. He
question
said he
correctly.
knows.
You don't know.
CHOKMAH knows it. Say he knows.
Well, Jim Crow, the character himself, was. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was like a play character. It was like a character in a play. He was basically a stereotype of black, like the worst kind of stereotype of black people, played by Mr. Rice, I think, and he basically made black people look like, make them have like the facade of ugly, dirty, scary, goofy, everything. It's like they used his character on toys and stuff to basically make black people seem like a joke and all that stuff. So yeah, it's just a very degrading thing.
Do you have some of the laws that were actually practiced during the Jim Crow era?
No, we didn't. We didn't list that. No, we didn't list that.
You didn't list them?
Yeah.
Do you know some of them since you said you know already? I am putting you on the spot. Yeah. Step up.
So I know, like, just they had to be separate, and I know that black people, they couldn't be out past a certain time. They let me see. they couldn't go to the same restrooms as white people.
That's good.
Black people had to sit at the back of the bus for a while.
Yeah.
Y'all actually mentioned one when you said about the vote.
Yeah, they could vote, but they had to vote for whoever they really want, who the white people wanted them to vote for. You had a question?
No, I'm just.
Sister Rhonda.
I just want to when you said that the laws ended in 1965, I just want us to think about 1965 was not that long ago.
Right.
It really wasn't. It was in our, your aunts, uncles, grandparents' lifetime.
Right.
We have resources. Your grandmother, Ema Sarah. We have some resources here that can actually tell us exactly what they were going through under those Jim Crow laws. So I just really want us to understand that a lot of these laws are not ancient.
That's right.
These are things that happened not too long ago, and that's what I really want the young people to understand, that this isn't old. This is something that didn't happen that long ago. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that we're not that far out of Jim Crow.
So for you two brothers, y'all did a good job, but to do more research on it so that you guys know, so next time this happens, you can explain yourself. The laws for Jim Crow were very extensive, and they were very, very petty.
Yeah.
Black people couldn't kiss in public.
Right.
I couldn't hold my white hand in public.
Right.
If a white man was walking towards me of any age or group or whatever, I would have to get up the sidewalk to them.
Right.
Not only that, I would have to acknowledge them. If we were driving and I had the right of way, I would have to give it over to a white person. It was all types of stupid laws that they created, and it was built for the sake of white pride and the subjugation of black dignity.
Right.
So out of everything that we dealt with, that kind of stuck with us more outside of legislation and voting and stuff like that, is the black people don't know how to recognize themselves as human beings, and we have a disrespect for one another that was carried on from a lot of the ways our slave masters treated us and how they treated us during segregation.
Right.
So, and there's a whole bunch of silly stuff that the schools and everything that we just couldn't do as a people, especially if we lived in the South. So, do the research for your own edification, because it's very important to understand the atmosphere of what you're dealing with and why there's this level of hatred and disrespect towards us, because this is what white people were taught and how they were taught to treat us for like 300 years. And it didn't change. And you can't, as small as our part of the study, they never did anything to transition the white mind to being human, because that wasn't human behavior. So now, there's a lot of things that treat everybody with respect, treat everybody equal, but there was never any emphasis in media, education, or religion amongst the white people to get them to become human beings again, to know how to treat people like being people. So therefore you have an agitator in the White House that can easily trigger these things for the sake of politics. Keep a gate, do this, whatever, because part of white supremacy is an idea of exclusivity and elitism that really doesn't exist. There's no superiority in their mind state, their culture, or in their attitude. Right?
That's right.
It doesn't exist.
Right.
You'll see some of the worst people on the planet amongst them as a people. But the idea that the society either enforces it or doesn't do anything about it has become the problem.
That's right.
So as black people, part of what we have to do as Israelites...
Can you come up here and take the mic?
No, I don't need the mic.
The people online got to hear you.
Oh. No, I don't need it. Can they hear me?
You might as well finish it out.
No, I'm going to just say what I got to say over here.
I'm saying it's almost over. You might as well finish out the day.
No, because it's their show. I'm just trying to do that.
Good job, boys. Good
They
job.
got it. That's it. Y'all done? Yeah. Nothing else to add?
Short and sweet. Good job.
So Chief Naftali BINAH, you could come and finish saying what you were saying. I'll call up my brother, Chief Naftali BINAH. You was talking all over this show, so I figured just finish with it. Come and finish it out.
Shabbat Shalom. But I would like to say that just in general, these things that we do to introduce re-education to our people and coming from the youth is very excellent. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, part of the problem with Israel is that we emphasize our spiritual side without knowing how we got here. You know, our people and Rabbi Matthews, they didn't get here just by an epiphany from God. It was a struggle. It was a struggle to be somebody that was black, to say that I'm going to practice this way of life. My grandfather had the most problem dealing with his own kind. He said that when he used to go to the synagogue, they would hide their kippahs under their hats because the black people that went to church would insult them. And that's how they got into learning martial arts and stuff like that, because they didn't want to get jumped by the wrong people. So education is very important.
Absolutely.
But I'm not a proponent of just going to school. I'm a proponent of people doing what these young men did, learning, reading books, and as Maria Rania said this morning, it's important that we encourage. It's important that everybody in the community begins to encourage our young people to learn more about themselves than they learn anything else, because they're not learning about their history in school. Case in point, as I was talking about black integrity, because it seems that amongst us as a people, we lack integrity, right? We don't have it. And it's not something I'm ashamed of too much, to the extent that of those of us who know and have an understanding towards getting integrity, we have to achieve it. When you know that we're supposed to have integrity and you don't practice integrity, that's when I have a problem. You know, I don't name call people. I don't call my people niggers, coons, sambos, and stuff like that, and then turn around and praise to the Most High. I can't do that. That's false. So before I big up anybody or give anybody a shout out, we have to learn what's going on. There's an apology owed. People need to know that this is not something that we can go with. If we have disagreements, we have disagreements, but my relationship with you will never get better with you name calling me. And part of the issue is we're dealing in a society where we're not getting the benefit of the doubt of what we did to make this country. If you do the research on this country, we made this country.
That's right.
We made this place.
That's right. They brought us here as soon as they
We made
got
this place, and I'm going to tell you, there's more research that's going down right now. The reason why there's so many black people brought to these shores is because they knew that we were a capable people. Right. On record, that slave owners was like, listen, don't give me no Mexicans and don't give me no Irish. I can't do nothing with them. Give me an African. An African knows how to work the land. He's industrious. He knows how to labor. He has ways to make things happen out of nothing. Give me the African because he's worth more money. I mean, he's worth more to make me money. So give me the African. And that was on record. So therefore, you do have communities in this group that if it wasn't for white supremacy in America, they would not survive. We made a Black Wall Street from nothing, from Jim Crow and slavery. We made those things from oppression. We didn't get, like other communities, handouts and benefits. Welfare didn't start with us. Welfare started with them. Welfare started with, listen, they don't know how to do much. Let's give them this. Let's give them that. Let's give them a means to feed themselves because they're not capable. So we want to take the energy and the ingenuity that we have as a people and come together and do what's right. I was thinking, you know, there's this talk about what a warrior is. And, you know, we have a warrior in this camp, and I want to acknowledge him today. Maria Rania is a warrior. Let me tell you why. The essence of what Israel is supposed to be a people that are awakened to teach other people to awaken themselves to the truth of God. Amen. And not for us to just do that, but become a nation once again. Right. So when Nika started the thing, he's going to do a class, whatever, you know, you always skeptical about things. I don't undermine what he's doing, but I'm skeptical, like, you know, you want to see how the first one works out, see if people come. See, so I didn't go, but I saw the pictures, and I just saw everything lined up. And he had the stations, and he had the people, and he had everybody involved in the practice. And I said, this is Israel.
This is what Israel was meant to do. It was meant to teach their people how to fish. It was meant to give them a means to survive, meant to educate them. This is what Israel, it's not all about praying. It's not all about Shabbat service. It's about the work that you do for God's people. And D.C.B is actually doing that work through this brother right here. And now I'm inspired to do like, yo, what can I teach? What can I? Because we have skills. But the thing is, we've been so long, like when we undermine each other for a very long time, it makes people fearful of doing things or taking chances because you don't want to do anything that people are going to spit on and shame and disrespect. So therefore you back down and you retreat. But I know him, he's a very bold man, and he'll do it regardless of what people say, but he's doing something to push the envelope amongst us in the community. So now we were talking on the phone this weekend, you know, he said, yo, I said, you know what, we didn't get the media involved. Because the media has a lot to say when we do something wrong, but when we do something positive and right, where are you? Why isn't your nose in this CIA and feds? And because you know they watching. They watch. I will watch. They watch. But something positive is happening. So now it's something that we can't stop. So Nika's going to do his thing, and there's other things that are going to happen in order to bring us to an understanding that our job is to teach people what's right, but to be an example of what's right. It's not enough to talk it. You have to live it.
Talk it like you want.
So I'm not going to get into the Malcolm X fiery speech, black and white, whatever the case may be. But I want to mention this before we leave. You know, the Jussie Smollett is probably being talked about in every place of worship, this, whatever. And I want to tell y'all something. And this is why I talk so hard against certain things, because you see the damage of what a liar actually does. And that's what you need to see. So when you have your kids and you watching TV, take them and have them look at Jussie Smollett and say, you know what, son? You know what, daughter? That's right. This is the consequence of what lying does. Because it wasn't. See, he thought he was just going to do something. This is what I don't know the reason why. The media saying the reason why is for more money. I know the fact that he lied. And Chicago PD wasn't doing that good for a while. They had assassinated that boy in the street, shot him down like a dog. They have been having a series of problems because they've been having a crime problem in Chicago that it seemed that the police either has been instigating or they wasn't doing anything about it. So now you gave everybody brownie points. You gave the CPD brownie points now because now they can hold their head up again in the face of a lot of bad allegations. You gave Trump a brownie point because you lied on Trump. You lied on the liar. You gave him a brownie point, so now you gave the enemy the power to stand strong because you attacked him and you wasn't telling the truth.
Yes.
And then, as the chief of the CPD said, he said, I know the problems with racism, and not that we the best at doing what we could do to fix it, but you played on these sensitive issues to further your selfish cause.
Yes.
This is what a narcissist, self-righteous, selfish person does.
Yes, sir.
This is why we attack people that do things like that. Because they cause a danger, not just to themselves, but to everybody around them. Now somebody else has a complaint. What's going to happen? People are going to be like, listen, they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt because there's liars that are out there telling lies for their personal agenda. And I'm so laughing because you said 2 white people did this to you, and you got some of the blackest brothers from Africa, Nigerians that's built like this, that actually did it. But you know, this is why we keep the law. This is why we keep the law so that we can get along, so that we can have trust, understanding, and peace amongst us. That's why we condemn people that don't practice the law, because that is the result of those who choose not to do what God say do. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
Thanking the Most High God for the life of Chief Naftali Ben Don. Thanking the Most High God for the youth that came up here and presented, made that presentation, Moshe and Heath. May the Most High God continue to bless them in their studies, and all the youth that came up during this month, and thanking Samal Zakar for having the idea of having all the youth come together and do this. It's a sense of pride to understand our history and to know that we come from somewhere, right? Sometimes when you read the pages of the Tanakh and you just read, and sometimes you can't match that with history because you don't know history. But when you learn history, it's important for us to understand how to match that with Torah and with the Tanakh. So give the Yeladim a round of applause again for the work that they did this month. And it's not that, because Black History Month for a while has been an insult to black people, because they, we always say it's the shortest month of the year. But the thing about it is that we're not going to let it go in vain, because we have a lot of history that they don't like to say, they don't like to speak about. And they don't learn this in the schools. Now think about all the things that they knew and all the things that they didn't know. And if we don't do a job of teaching it to them, where else are they going to learn it? They're going to think that they just fell out, that they just Americans. We Americans. And if we don't do the job of teaching them and letting them know everything about their history, then they're lost. Japanese learn their history, their tradition. Chinese learn their history, their tradition. Exactly. Jews learn their history, their tradition. And they never let you forget. Look, the Japanese and the Chinese been warring for thousands of years. They don't forget their history. Chinese, Japanese don't like each other. And China could be big and powerful, and Japan say, y'all better don't step over here. Because they don't forget their history. We're the only people, misplaced people, that forgot our history, because the slave master did a good job of making us forget. So when we get moments like this, we have to be cognizant, and we have to be on top of it, and we have to understand the things that are presented right before us, because if you forget your past, you're liable to repeat it. So you have to know your past. You have to understand why men like Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, why they gave their lives for the movement. And those are men that we have to keep on a high pedestal. You got to remember men like Rabbi Matthew and Rabbi Yirmiyahu and all the great people that came before us, because that's part of our history also. So we can't go wrong. This brother right here, Azrael Devine, his father was a rabbi in Chicago for years. Got his own community. We talking about communities. How long your Abba had that community for, my brother?
He will be in rabbi for 62 years coming September.
62 years. And he got his own community where they live off the land, where they off on their own. And he's about 90, what years old? 92. We got history within our community, but because we don't speak about it and we don't share it, we wouldn't know this. If I didn't interview him, I wouldn't know this. You know what I'm saying? So we got history all through Israel, and people that we could look up to and we could talk to. You got, like you say, Ima Sarah's here. She's a wealth of history. You could sit down and talk to her, and she could probably tell you some stuff that will blow your mind. Ima Emuna, we got elders here. You know, Ima Keturah, we got Ima Yakolia, we got brothers here. You got to sit down and get that history from them so that you don't forget it. You know, sitting down with elders, how much history I got? Now I could give the history the right way, not the way somebody told me, the way they wanted me to hear it. You get what I'm saying? So when I get the history the right way, now when I pass it on to people, then I'm passing on the right history. You got these brothers, they talking about the Pop Bibbins and all the things that Pop Bibbins did. All I did was sit down with Chief of Chiefs, Prince Rishadai. I sat down with CHOKMAH, people that actually spoke to him, Nasi Barak, and they said, nah, that the chart was something that Pop Bivens admitted that he made up just to hook people. Right. To hook people in, but they teaching that it's a fact. If you from North America, you Judah. Nah, Pop Bivens said, nah, I know, Danny, I know but that's the hook for the people. Right. And when you're talking about first-hand accounts and people that were there, then nobody could dispute you. Because you're not talking out of your own mouth, you're talking off somebody that was there. And they're saying it themselves. So that's what's important. So history is great, but history is important to record because we need to know our past. You need to sit down with your family and find out your family history and who is who and where they come from. Because one last thing, that DNA stuff, they got a DNA company, you go give your DNA to them and they working with the feds. They admitted it that they're working with the federal government, and what they do is if somebody commit a crime or somebody did something, they got a database, right? So what they do is they'll go to the nearest person with that DNA makeup if they caught DNA from a crime scene. And then let's say your brother's locked up in jail, say this guy right here is not his DNA, but it's somebody close enough to be his brother or a cousin. And that's how they solving crimes now. So all that 23andMe and black African DNA and all that stuff, they're storing your genomes in a data bank, and they're working with the federal government in order to get all of our stuff and to put more people in prison. So with that, thanking the Most High God, and I hope that you got something out of the day. We will close out now with the blessing that the Most High God gave unto Moshe to give unto our Adar and his sons, the blessed children of Yisrael. Hoping and praying that the conclusion of this day, that the Most High God will look down upon each and every one of us and grant us a blessing. Wadaber Yahovah el Moshe lemor, daber el Aharon we el Benal lemor, ko tevarku et bnei Yisrael amor lahem. And Yahweh spoke unto Moshe, saying, speak unto Aharon and unto his son, saying, on this wise ye shall bless the children of Yisrael. Ye shall say unto them, Yivarekha Yahweh Yishmerekha, Ya'ir Yahweh Panawlekha Wikunekha, Yisa Yahweh Panawlekha Yasemlekha, Shalom. May Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. May Yahweh make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. May Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and may he grant thee peace. Hallelujah. 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 Bequacho. Hallelujah, betafumako. Hallelujah, eminiwela. Hallelujah, betzil tale shama. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. May be seated for announcements. First announcement to the people online is If you would like to make donations, you can make donations to D.C.B. 382 Hamilton Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11231. Once again, D.C.B. 382 Hamilton Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11231. That's the address. You can also donate on our website, www.baitdcb.org. The homepage is a button that says donate right on the toolbar. You press that and you could donate via MasterCard, Visa, and all of that. PayPal, you could donate info@baitdcb.org. Now, for all of you that used to donate through Super Chat, I don't know, YouTube, they just never turned it back on for us, but it is what it is. PayPal, you can still donate through PayPal. You could donate through our website. All your donations are appreciated, and we appreciate all the help that you give us. Anything else? Any other announcements? Anything else? All right, so tomorrow the electrical class once again, but tomorrow's going to be the 4th week, right? The 4th week, then the 5th week is over, then you're going to announce when you're going to restart it again, right? Yeah, depending on the holy days, yes. Yeah. So Moray Arani is going to announce when he's going to restart the electrical class. So get your space early because you know it goes quick. So if you're interested, this is for man or woman. It doesn't matter. It could be a man or a woman that wants to come and learn. If you own a home, anything, you want to learn how to do this thing, this is really a cheap course. And he's helping people out in the community so that they could learn how to do something. Something else. Don't forget the Unity Shabbat. Unity Shabbat is going to be on May 25th, 2019, and the Night of Elegance is going to be the 26th. So the commercial is out there already, the flyer is out there already. Grab it up, share it on all your social platforms. For everybody online, just look on the YouTube channel, grab the commercial, share it on all your social platforms, and just come out and have a good time for us. Make all your flights reservations, your hotel reservations. From now, don't wait till the last minute, and then you start calling me, asking me about if I could find you this, if I could find you that. I can't. You got to do that from now. So everybody online, if you're coming, just get prepared, and you don't want to miss it. Any other announcements? Prince Jerry. Oh, brother.
Shalom, shalom. First of all, I know that Beit Shalom is supposed to be doing something tomorrow for Black History Week. They had asked if we had anybody who wanted to come up and recite a poem or something. I forgot the exact time, but I could get that. Anybody know the time for Beit Shalom? Oh, you know?
It's from 1 o'clock until...
From 1 until, okay. They own the place, so from 1 until...
Until you burn out.
Yeah. Also, the Israelite Community Vision Council has a health economic summit. It's the topics are diabetes, stress, weight loss, workshops, tax preparation, real estate, apprenticeships, community pride, goals and history, panel discussions, business networking, vendors tables available at $25 each, financial and legal professionals available for consultation. This is going to be Sunday, March 10th, 2019, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Beit Shalom, Congregation 730 Willoughby Avenue in Brooklyn. And we have some phone numbers here. And the offering is $5, refreshments served. My Lord.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I just want to piggyback on what he was saying about the event tomorrow at Beit Shalom. It is a Hebrew Israelite Black History Month celebration. I wrote a play last summer called Yehudit. It's about the heroine in the Apocrypha, and the name of the book is named after her, Yehudit. And the play went really well. A lot of people didn't get a chance to see it, but thanks to our brother Uziel, he videotaped the play. So we're going to be showing at the videotape of the play, as well as we're going to have food, games, fun. Also, we're having a pre-augural HOI Awards. HOI is House of Israel Awards. It's the pre-augural, not the inaugural. Next year will be the inaugural event, and from each community, we're going to be asking them to submit nominations for the various categories. The HOI Awards is going to be something in the future that honors people in our community for outstanding excellence in their contribution to the community. It's going to be like receiving an Oscar or an Emmy or a Tony, only it's going to be a HOI Award, the House of Israel Awards. And so we're going to look forward to having this to be something really fantastic for years and decades to come. And so tomorrow, like I said, it's the pre-augural. We're going to have a few nominations that we put together. We will be honoring someone from this community, and we want you all to come and support who we nominated. I'm not going to say anything who that person could be, but it is going to be most deserving for this person to receive this honor. This is Black History. You guys have a person in your community that is a chronicler of, if I said that word correctly, he chronicles the history of our people, and not only in New York, but in Chicago and North Carolina, South Carolina. And one of these days, he may get down to do an interview with my dad down in Mississippi. They have a kibbutz down there, so, that would be really great too. So that's all. It's tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Vendors' tables are still available at $20 a table. And after Shabbat, which I think it is after Akharei Shabbat, I do have tickets if anyone wants to get them now, or you can pay at the door.
How much are the tickets?
Okay, tickets are $20 for adults. Senior citizens are $10. Children 13 to 18 are $10. Children under 13 are free.
And we want to have a small, I don't see my vice president, he never showed up. Huh? Oh, okay. All right, well, we wanted to just have a small nation meeting concerning the different things that we're about to do, the Unity Shabbat, the after dance, to see if we can meet with the different committees and just talk about, what's going on with us right now. So if y'all could stick around for a while, maybe get you a drink or something. But we want to come back in here in a little while and just chop it up about what's going on in D.C.B. So, right?
Meanwhile, donations and obligations.
Donations, obligations for the nation.
Can I make a suggestion for donations? I think this will work. Can D.C.B. get on Cash App and Venmo? I think it works for all of us. I know we got the PayPal piece, but I think it works for all of us because all of us have that app. It's hard. PayPal is difficult, but Venmo and Cash App, we all have that on our phones. It instantly goes directly into the account. Can we think about doing that?
Surely we can. Definitely.
For those who want to do it.